Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade and our look at June sales data of Flesh and Blood sealed boxes off of TCG Player. This is the 18th month I've been doing these monthly Flesh and Blood sales data videos. Man. So two stories to tell this month. The first is, just as I predicted, an onset of lethargy in the Flesh and Blood market. I think it's safe to say that Flesh and Blood is in a minor bear market. Sales are slowing, prices are dropping slightly, but it's up against stiff competition from Wizards of the Coast with the Lord of the Rings expansion and the upcoming Commander Masters expansion this summer. So, not unexpected that Flesh and Blood takes a bit of a hit for this time being. Now, the second story to talk about is there was a bonus buck sale on TCG Player on June 30th, which is the last day of data that I collected for this analysis today. So you will see that in all of these as this little sharp leg upward all the way out here on the end of the plot. And you may notice it in some of the cumulative spend plots too, but it's more pronounced on the cumulative box sales plots. So first off this month, as usual, I'm looking at Welcome to Wraith Unlimited, Arcane Rising Unlimited, and Crucible of War Unlimited. And you see what we've been seeing for a while now. If we go to the 3-month wide plot, it's that sales are just very slowly slowing down. This curve gets shallower and shallower over time. And of course, if sales were going really fast, then many of these boxes would be sold over a short period of time, and this curve would be much steeper like it was back in this area 2.5 months ago, but it's shallowing out over time. Partly a product of just a slowing fab market against the competition this summer from Magic, and partially a product of these old boxes just selling fewer and fewer as time goes on because fewer of them are on the market, and over the long timeline the prices go up and up. So taking a look at the month over month table as usual, the May boxes sold, June boxes sold, and the month over month percentage difference. The May price, average price per box sold, the June average price per box sold, and the month over month difference in average price sold. Then I just multiply those together to get May revenue, June revenue, and the month-over-month change in revenue. So the one thing that you'll notice again and again is, especially for these older boxes, the bases they were starting off of were pretty low, mid double digits, and they didn't change a lot. Minus 16% on Welcome to Wraith, plus 16% and plus 14% on Arcane Rising and Crucible of War Unlimited, respectively. So not a lot of big changes, and the prices just very slightly down, like you kind of expect. If the sales aren't doing much, sales are just kind of slow to start with in May, they were slow again in June, prices will fall slightly because there's just not enough demand in the market. Now moving onward to Monarch First Edition, Tales First Edition, and Everfest First Edition, we see the same thing, the flattening of this sales curve over time, and the sharp leg up for that bonus buck sale. So, like I mentioned, that bonus buck sale, I wanted to go over specifically the data of how many boxes sold of each of these. Welcome to Wraith Unlimited sold 13 boxes on that Friday bonus buck sale. Arcane Rising Unlimited was 7. Crucible of War Unlimited was 7. And then here, Monarch First Edition, the blue line was 27. Tales of Aria Unlimited was 27 also. And Everfest First Edition was 31 during the bonus buck sale. So I had wanted to use that to kind of gauge, how many investors are out there kind of lurking on the sideline and saying, hey, the prices are slightly down off of the peaks that they hit in April, and there's a bonus buck sale, maybe they'll jump in. And so it's interesting to see that there were kind of large legs up on that day. Not as large as I would have expected, though. I would have expected there would have been more investors sitting out there kind of ready to pounce on that. But on the other hand, there were a whole lot of people this month spending $420, $440, $460, even all the way up to $520 for a Lord of the Rings collector box. So a lot of money was being funneled to other things this month. Now, the month-over-month table for Monarch, Tales, and Everfest First Editions. You see Monarch First Edition had a very significant fall in sales, down 57%, and it had started with an okay base. I mean, these are pretty good numbers for this kind of old product for a game the size of Flesh and Blood, and just taking the pulse of the sales on TCG Player. So down 57% is actually pretty interesting, especially considering that 27 of those 47 June sales came on the bonus box day. So if not for that sale, this may have been down somewhere around 70 or 80% for the month. Up 27% on Tales of Aria First Edition, but again, it only started at 41 boxes and moved to 52. It's not that significant. And down 35% on Everfest First Edition from 85 to 55 boxes. Again, that's kind of in the range in between the other two, so we might argue it's significant or not. And the price is down single-digit percentage. And then moving on, we'll take a quick look at History Pack Volume 1. Now, its line of sales has been pretty steady for these last 2 months, and actually even before that. This was another bonus box sale, but if you kind of imagine taking that out, this line is fairly flat, so sales have been pretty consistent for months now. And we'll see on the month-over-month table, the big jump for the bonus box sale, it sold 29 boxes during that sale, so if we were to take those off, it would be, what, 43 for the month? So it would have actually decreased for the month if not for the bonus box sale. And again, prices down by single-digit percentages. And then coming into the more recent sets, we'll take a look real quick at Uprising, Dynasty, and Outsiders. And as usual, what you expect to see, part of it's just the TCG expansion life cycle where sales of products slow over time, and part of it's just the lethargy of other products competing for people's dollars this summer. The legs up from the bonus box sale on this one. Uprising sold 61 boxes on the bonus box sale, Dynasty 44 boxes, and Outsiders 43. And then taking a look at the month-over-month data. Increase of 22% for Uprising, a decrease of 21% for Outsiders, and pretty flat for Dynasty. But again, prices very slightly negative. Now we're going to do something slightly different for Dusk Till Dawn. We'll compare it to Dynasty, since Dynasty and Dusk Till Dawn are both supplemental sets, and I've changed the horizontal axis here not to dates, but to days since release. And so what that does is it takes the sales data and it horizontally lines up their release days, which on each plot here is over at the right side at days since release equals 0. So what we can see is that the blue line of Dynasty, this was its cumulative spend as it approached release day, and this is the red line is the cumulative spend of Dusk Till Dawn as it approaches release day. And again, you can't read too much into this giant leg up because, well, it was the bonus box sale. Dusk Till Dawn sold 119 boxes that day out of a cumulative 143 that it sold so far. 119 of them were that day. So if we discount most of those boxes from that bonus box sale, then the performance of Dusk Till Dawn is so far really comparable to Dynasty. And again, this mostly pulled forward sales in time. And so what we can expect is for the slope of this line to lag going forward and for it to dip back closer to this Dynasty line, we would hope, as we get closer to release. What we kind of expect is that the performance of Dynasty will be pretty much a predictor of the performance of Dusk Till Dawn, and then what we would like to see on top of that is maybe, 5% growth, something like that, from one supplemental set to another. And the last thing I want to show this month, let me set this up. I'm going to show the long-term trend of Welcome to Wraith, Arcane Rising, and Crucible of War. And I started the video talking about how I had 18 months of data I had collected with this tool now. And this is kind of something that I talk about more philosophically on this channel a lot. It's that you hit these periods in the market where this line gets shallow because people aren't buying a lot. The prices were flat to slightly negative during this period. And this is when I was pounding the table all through last spring and summer saying all Flesh and Blood was underpriced and you needed to be buying. And thankfully, a lot of my patrons and a lot of other viewers of this channel took me up on it. And when Flesh and Blood got into this period in the fall and winter, I started getting a lot of messages from people saying, man, I'm glad I held on. I'm glad I bought through the summer because prices were going up then. And what we see is this buying pressure of more boxes being bought put price pressure on the product and the prices came up. And now what we're seeing is that buying pressure is leveling off. the rate of boxes being sold is flattening out. This curve is becoming shallow again. And because of that, the prices are slightly dipping. Now we see where they hit these highs in April of 2023. They're slightly falling off of these highs. And the point that I'm going to make here is if we get out, let's say 8 weeks from now, so 3 weeks past the release of Magic's Commander Masters, and Flesh and Blood is still kind of in this dithering sideways to slightly down type of trend on price, then I'm going to start beating the table again and saying that all Flesh and Blood is underpriced. I haven't been saying it very much lately. I kind of think on the philosophical long-term 10-year timeline, yes, it's underpriced. But on the shorter timeline of, say, 2 to 4 years, right now it's not especially underpriced. But if we go through the rest of this summer, there's no real big action. Wizards of the Coast keeps soaking up all the money out of the room with their premium products they're releasing this summer, then it may be time to start piling in to Flesh and Blood for the long term again. So let me know what you think, guys. I do these videos every month with the data I scrape off of TCG Player. If you enjoy them or appreciate them, hit subscribe. Tune into the rest of my TCG investing content. And if you want to support the channel, it's $4 a month over on Patreon. You get a monthly newsletter, you get real-time buy notifications when I buy something, and you get the opportunity to message me, and I will actually return your message because I can't possibly return all the comments that I get on YouTube. Let me know what you think, guys. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join me on Final Trade.